if this work, my phone gonna not work now or okay. Let's just get right into it then. I'm Harry Rothman. Could you please state your name and rank, please?
My name is Adam Dwechter. I'm actually an acting sergeant at the moment in the state police.
Okay, and I just have a few questions for you. My first question would be, what kind of educational background do you have?
I actually attended Stockton and got my bachelor's degree in the criminal justice program there, and then I attended Seton Hall and received my master's.
Mm, okay. My next question would be, uh, how did you end up getting started in your field?
I started out in a program in Galloway Township actually, which was the Galloway Township Police Explorers, and it's
Mm,
basically for younger students in high school, just out of high school, interested in law enforcement, and that program actually shaped the direction that I ended up going with my career.
okay, so it was very beneficial to you, and you actually enjoyed it.
Yes, very much so. I mean, I made a lot of great friends, and as you can tell, I mean, it's carried me very far. So I
Okay.
was hired as a Galloway Township cop, and then I eventually left there and became a trooper.
Very nice. What advice would you give to someone starting off in that field?
I would say that if you can, get as much experience as you can, because that's going to help you out with your resume, with job opportunity. I would suggest becoming a Class 2 officer in a shore town, and that way you can get the benefit of going through an abbreviated academy, but yet you still work in a town where you carry a gun and you have all the rest powers of a regular police officer, but you only do it for summertime. So therefore, you get a lot of experience, and you can really tell if the job's right for you or not.
Okay, makes a lot of sense. Um, how do you think networking via social media would help in your field?
Certainly, it does help when it comes to getting help and answers and for cases and things of that nature, because no one knows it all. But as long as you have a resource to go to, then certainly that helps you out with anything you might need, whether it be an investigation or just maybe some forms or different ideas for problem solving that your township might encounter that another town has already taken care of. So networking is key in my field.
Have there ever been any incidences where Twitter was involved or Facebook or anything in that nature, um, where you've had to deal with it actually yourself?
Yes, quite a few times we've had cases involving Twitter, Meebo, MySpace, even back then. Anything you can think of with digital media, there's always people who are willing to misuse it and get in trouble, whether it be through harassment, threats, distribution of child pornography, things like that. There's a lot of problems out there that technology creates, and it's very tough to stay on top of it. But it's definitely a challenging investigation, but very rewarding at the end.
So you've actually dealt with this quite a bit. It sounds like.
Yes, in a prior one of my prior roles within the state police, I was a school resource officer, and obviously in high schools, social media is everything. So when there was issues, a lot of times I'd go online to figure out what was going on.
Okay, and my next that leads me to my next question. What, if any, effect do digital footprints play in your hiring process in your field?
If you're someone who has an extensive online background, uh, we do great applicant investigations where we look into those behaviors online, pictures that people post, and just generally like their associates. It can certainly definitely make or break someone when it comes to applying for a job such as mine. Any corporate company that has a six-figure job is going to want to know that their employees are trustworthy and can handle themselves with all the different sources of media out there. They don't want to have a public blunder where their company becomes embarrassed because of your behavior. So a lot of companies now do research online before they hire, not just my own.
So, you, you obviously had to go to a police academy to become a trooper. Am I right?
Correct.
So, what you're saying is, if even if you graduated at the top of your class and they saw some inappropriate pictures that you could have posted or someone could have posted about you, you could potentially not get that job.
I would say that once you're in the academy, the background investigation is already completed. So that mostly means that you've already been accepted into the process. However, if there's damaging material that does come out and it shows that you lied on a background or, again, adversely affects your career, especially if it's like while you're in the academy, then yes, you could lose your position. There's no doubt in my mind. I mean, people have been dismissed for less than that.
Okay. Um, then, in your opinion, what do you think would be better, going straight into becoming a state trooper or becoming a city cop first for a little bit of experience before becoming a state trooper?
As I stated before, I was a police officer before I became a trooper. Um, there's benefit to each, to going right into the organization you want to be in, and also going to different organizations and see how they work and see what benefits they have and don't have. I would recommend if anyone wanted to be in the state police, they go immediately into that process because it's very beneficial to get in as early as you can. It's a very competitive hiring process, and it's a very good job. So the sooner someone's hired in our organization, it's like a lottery ticket. And certainly when you cash it out at the end of your career, when you have that great pension, it counts.
It certainly does. Um, then, in a normal work day for you, what's it like? Do you deal with like a lot of stress because of your job? Just run me through a normal work day.
It depends. As a sergeant right now, I usually handle a squad, and I'm actually sitting in the station. Depending upon the nature of the need, I can be dispatching calls, handling walk-ins, whatever the case may be. When I'm on the road, I'm actually the patrol sergeant, and I'm responsible for, again, overseeing calls that are handled, any motor vehicle stops, things like that. Some days, it's actually amazing because I can't believe I get paid to be a police officer. Other days, you couldn't pay me enough money to stay and do what I do.
Hmm.
But overall, I like what I feel like is a great, rewarding career. I get to help people out, and that's the end of my. That's the goal for me, to feel like I made a little bit of a difference. So I think that stress is part of the job with any job. It's just how you handle it that counts.
Hmm.
So in the academy, they teach you how to handle stress, and it's not very much of a factor nowadays.
Yeah. What would you say is your favorite part about the job?
Variety. I can tell you without a doubt that every time I go out on the road, every time I go to the station, and no matter what I'm doing, it's never the same thing twice. Because no call is ever the same. No investigation is ever cookie cutter. There's always, that element of surprise or just a difference that you have to handle. And if you like working and knowing what you're going to do day after day after day, well, certainly this might not be the job for you. Because one day I could be, speaking in front of a class of kindergartners, and the very next day chasing a bad guy through the woods. So, you just never know what's going on. You never know what time's going to bring. So it's great for, excitement and adventure in that way.
And my last question is, well, then, if that's your favorite part, what would be your least favorite?
I would say that it requires a lot of dedication, and it requires a lot of effort. To get where you want to be, it's never easy, especially if it's worthwhile. So I've had to make sacrifices, and those sacrifices, you know, were worth it at the end of the day, but they are never easy. I've had to lose friends because of my correct profession. They chose to do things that wasn't in line with my, my values, my ethics that I have to uphold, and it doesn't. It's It's never like you take the uniform off when you go home. You're still a police officer, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and people know you are. So if you're out there and you're drunk driving or you're hanging around people who do drugs or anything like that, I mean, it damages you, it damages your profession, it damages your career. So I'd say the biggest thing is I've had to become more dedicated and more careful about the way that I carry myself and what I do. And there's not like a care-free attitude that you can keep with you if you're going to have a job as a police officer. You have to be, at least somewhat serious and realize that everything you do does count.
I agree with that 100%. Okay, well, thank you for your time. They're all the questions that I have for you, and I really appreciate you taking out the time out of your day. I know it's busy to talk to me about this.
Definitely. Mr. Rosman, I had a great time. Thank you very much for the interview.
No problem. Hope to talk to you again soon.
Yes, sir. Take care.
You too.